it's Dominique here at Talent Martial Arts. Maybe you might have recently seen my knee warm-up stretches and corrections video. I have another one all about hips, and I find this one super important, at least to me. Past couple years, I had a lot of trouble with my hips and lower back, and I found some things that help. Now, I'm gonna have to give you guys some advice that helped me. That doesn't mean take it as medical advice. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a physiotherapist. So you could try things out and see if it works for you. I can't guarantee it will, but I can share what I have learned about my hips and lower back. So in martial arts, I love to do a lot of kicking. Sometimes I'll do a lot of leg holds, and I found my hip flexors were getting tighter and tighter and tighter. And even though I tried to stretch them, actually when I did stretch them out, that night I find there was a lot of pain in my hips, and it was actually hard to sleep. So I think there was a couple muscle groups I need to work on to help counteract that, which would be I started working more on my glutes and my lower abs to help stop that from happening, strengthening the other side, because your body has like a push and pull kind of thing and always counteracts each other trying to fix itself, and sometimes it doesn't always do that in the best way. But anyhow, let's get into how to activate those muscle groups, starting with your glutes. What I like to do, if you haven't done this before, maybe you have had it, doesn't matter. You can start by laying on the ground, and just laying down normally right now, I can stick my fingers underneath. Instead, start by trying to push your back into the ground, so then I can't stick my fingers underneath anymore. And this is kind of tilted my pelvis up. It's kind of like tucking my bum in. I remember when I did dancing when I was younger, they were always telling me to tuck my bum in. I guess I understand now why. Anyway, again, laying down normally, I stick my fingers underneath, not what I'm looking for. Instead, I'm going to push my back into the ground, and I can't stick my fingers underneath anymore. And you see my hips kind of turned there. And then what I tried to do next is, I found a couple exercises online, of course. Not much to do, so always searching stuff online. You lift your knees up, ideally so they're straight up, 90 degrees here, 90 degrees here. And if you're doing this properly, you'll feel it in your glutes, and it's actually kind of hard to hold. And then while you're doing this, you still shouldn't be able to tuck your fingers underneath. So this has helped activate my glutes, and tucking my bum in is very important to activating your lower abs. So what you can do after that, once you figured that you can do it and you feel like it's proper, tuck in, knees up. You can kind of like try to touch the ground with your toes. I can't even get even farther, and back up. I can't get any farther because if I do, I feel my back comes back up, and that's not what we want. We want to keep our back on the ground the whole time. So I'll just try again. Knees up, 90. Make sure I tuck my bum in. My back's on the ground, touch the ground. And I can really feel my lower abs now. And then see if you can bring it back up. And some people do this really well. They can even like lift their bum off the ground a little bit and turn it more into a crunch. These are good too, but I recommend having this first. I find this one's a lot harder, just going slow. So that's more on your glutes and your lower abs. You can transfer that into your stances. This is a martial arts video, and I want to make sure I cover the martial arts that you guys might be doing at home. One thing I see a lot that needs to be corrected sometimes at our dojo is people are in their Shiko Dutch. They have this really big arc in their back. And remember when we're laying on the ground, we pushed our back and tucked our bum? That's what we want to do here too. I find it really helps. I can activate my muscles a lot better and hold my Shiko Dutch a lot stronger just doing it this way. And then my core is activated like it should be in Goju Ryu, practicing my blocks, right? Again, doing your Shiko Dutch. You can tuck your bum in to make your back flatter, and that way it'll help everything else. You can do the same with your forward stance. So this is me arcing my back. What I can do instead is tuck my bum in. You see that arc is gone. My hips are forward, and I already get a stretch here because I haven't stretched them properly in the past couple of days. So if you're in this stance, you're like, oh, I feel it's tight, definitely give it a nice stretch here, warm up this way. And then the other way. So this is me with my arched back, pushing it forward to have a straighter back. And then you'll feel it maybe in your hip flexors if you haven't been doing this. We should also be doing this in our Sunshine, of course. I find it's more corrected in our Sunshine stance to tuck our hips up, but I also like trying to doing it with my other stances. Overall, I find it helps. Even like with kicking, when I tuck my bum in, I actually get a little bit more balance and able to kick stronger when I tuck my hips forward. So if you are finding your hips are still tight, you've done those activation warm-ups, that's great. You can move on to other exercises too, such as like a normal ab workout. Just when you're doing a normal ab workout, kind of think of the same thing. So if you're doing sit-ups or crunches, keep your back into the ground and then do your crunch. I also like to tuck in my heels and push them in the ground so I get a little bit more of my hamstrings too. It makes it a lot harder to do a crunch. Or if you're doing anything like V-ups or leg ups or bicycle kicks, you still have to keep your back into the ground and tuck your bum in. So maybe if you're doing this exercise, up and down, I still have to make sure my back stays into the ground and I don't arc it with my fingers underneath like before. So let's get into some stretches. So hip flexor stretch, this is the way I do it, is I try to do 90 and 90. Some people try to get in a deep one, depends on your flexibility level. I always start in the beginning with 90 and 90, because I can find just by tucking my hips and again doing my bum tuck, that I'm already getting that stretch. And then I hold it for about 20 to 30 seconds until I feel it goes away. And that's when I try to get a little deeper. To get a little extra stretching, maybe more on the inside, I kind of tilt my hips just a bit and then push forward. And you can do it on the other side, of course. So just normal forward. And then the whole time, I'm still tucking my hips forward. And then I can kind of tilt a little bit to see if I have any other parts of my hip flexors that need to be stretched. And sometimes I like to stretch out the sides or just the muscle group in front. So I'll keep pushing forward and I'll try to reach to the side, reach behind me. It looks more like this on this side. Great. And another one is maybe your back might be tight, that might be affecting your hips, might not be. Again, I told you I'm not a physiotherapist, but I find this one works. So there's the child's pose stretch. You guys are probably very familiar with it. I always done it and like never felt a stretch until I kind of put my research in and learned how to do it a little bit more properly. So I try to get on all fours. I try to separate my knees a little bit so I get a nice rectangle. And then again, I'm going to tuck my hips forward. See, I arch my back a bit and then slowly come down. I get much more of a stretch this way than I've ever had. One more time, all fours, tucking your bum in and then slowly sitting down. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. We covered quite a bit. We covered warming up, more like learning how to activate our glutes and our lower abs, making sure we're always tucking our hips forward and our back is always straight, maybe in our stances, or if you're doing exercise that involves your core and laying on the ground, and you know that this can be applied to sometimes when I'm just walking down the street, I'll be pushing my hips forward to get that stretch. And then sometimes in my kata, I find it really helps. And then we went over some stretching as well to help loosen it up. I hope this advice has helped. Again, don't take it as medical advice. I hope you guys are doing well. Bye for now.